Thank you very much for allowing us to come and be your guests in this lab. First of all, may you please tell us your name and the position you hold?
Thank you so much. My name is Abel Sefasi. I'm an employee of Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Specifically, I sit at the Bunda College of Agriculture, where we are now, and we are here in the biotechnology laboratory. So I work as a senior lecturer in molecular biology and biotechnology.
Give us a brief. What is biotechnology?
Biotechnology is any technique, any approach that you rely on living systems, living organisms to produce what you want. That's in simple terms.
How does this come into play in terms of agriculture?
Yeah, it comes into play in agriculture in a large way. If you listen to the definition, where we are saying we are using living systems, living organisms to produce what human beings want to use, you find that a large part should actually be in agriculture. So how is that happening? It's happening when you want to produce crops that can do what you want. If you want to produce cotton that has very good lint, if you want to produce maize that can fight or withstand diseases, if you want to produce highly nutritious vegetables, if you want to produce other crops that can survive under disease attacks, or if there's no rainfall, as it is these days of climate change, we have challenges of drought. So you can use biotechnology. Either you get good parents, maybe you can get them from outside Malawi to bring them here to improve the crops or the animals that we already have. And the methods that you use can be hybridization, which is marrying the two parents to produce the children, or you can use what we call modern biotechnology today, the controversial one, where you can get the power from those superior animals, superior plants, or superior microorganisms, and put in the other living things that you are already using to improve their power. So depending on the method you use, people can call it modern or traditional biotechnology. Sure.
What has been the impact of agricultural biotechnology in the agriculture system?
Thank you. Especially in Malawi, we have had 2-3 crops, actually 4 crops that we have experimented on. These are cotton, cowpea, banana, and maize. So we have experimented them on biotechnology. And when I say biotechnology, we are talking about the modern science, modern biotechnology, which other people like to call GMOs. Yeah, so some people, when they hear the word GMOs, it's scaring, but it's a technology that you use it, and like any other technology, it can be abused. This one has not been abused. So the impact in Malawi is mainly through cotton. Cotton that we are growing in Malawi, grown by 94% of our farmers, is GMO cotton. They have been growing it for about 5 years since it was released. When we say released, it means the ministry responsible for environment, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the key stakeholders in this country approved it as a crop that can be grown in the open without any fear. So it can be grown in the presence of all the birds, all the insects in this country. So it has been grown, and farmers have continued to grow it because they have seen the output. The yield is very high. The yield before this crop was around 700 kgs per hectare. Today, as we speak, the yield is 2 tons. 2 tons is 2,000 kgs per hectare. Not only is the yield high in terms of quantity, the quality of the lint is also commendable. The challenge that has been faced in the recent years is not related to the yield or the productivity, it's about the cost of the seed. And the cotton is a difficult crop. Most of our farmers in Malawi actually have been getting free seed of the cotton. Because they have been getting free seed from the ginares, it's something that they have to get used to in terms of buying seed. Cotton is different from our main crop, maize. For maize, everyone knows that they have to buy seed. Sure. So the impact mainly is in cotton, and it's the only crop that we have done as a GMO in this country. Sure.
You've mentioned GMO. This is usually talked about when we talk of food.
Yes.
You know, the way poultry is reared, for example, timamva kuti ya nkhuku izinza GMO kapena nkhuku izinza hybrid, ya masamba wanda hybrid tizidya local. What exactly does GMO do to the food system?
GMO itself does not do, I cannot say it does negative or positive things to the food system, because when you produce a GMO, you have a clear objective. If you wanted to produce a GMO to improve its survival when there's no rainfall or when there's very low rainfall, you will only change the maize so that it can adapt to that dry environment. If you wanted to produce maize that has high vitamin A, I'm using maize because it's a key crop in Malawi. Yeah, it's a very important crop. So if you wanted to increase vitamin A or zinc in maize, you will only put a gene that will do that. You will not change any other thing in that crop. And because you don't change any other thing in that crop, we should not stand here and say that GMOs have low nutrition. GMOs have increased nutrition. We cannot say that. If you have not increased the nutrition, the maize will remain the way it was. So GM technology has specific objectives. If you want to produce soybean that can survive under, if you apply herbicides and the soybean is not dying, instead you are killing weeds, that soybean is the same as any other soybean except for that strength to withstand the application of herbicides.
In Malawi, do we have crops that come in or food produce that comes in that is GMO? Since you said the only crop that we have is cotton that has been GMO refined in Malawi and it is being used. But in terms of food products, do we have any such that comes to Malawi?
In terms of food products, if you are talking about importing maybe maize flour, if the government is importing as a relief or to help its citizens, they usually sanction a test, GMO test, to check if these are positive or negative. So from 2002, I have no memory to remember that government said this is a GMO, but let it go to our people. There is no memory that I have, except the scenario of 2002, where there was the drought was so severe, the option that we had was the GMO maize from USA. So that was eaten by Malawians, including myself, and I'm okay. I believe that many people are okay who ate that maize. For other products, if you go to our supermarkets, if you go to Sana, if you go to Game, if you go to ShopRite, if you read the labels, especially these products from South Africa, the ones we give our children, our nephews in the house, things like cornflakes, you may find a label which says may contain GMO. So you will now agree with me that if they were allowed to come into Malawi, it means that the authorities found no problem with them. And if we are buying them after reading that and giving our children, it means that we ourselves as consumers have agreed that we can eat this. Because the label that is put on the food package is put for us. We are expected to read and agree. So I've not heard anywhere where people were demonstrating in Mzuzu, in Blantyre or in Zomba to say, we have found that they said on this pack that it may contain GMO. People are buying them, adding milk, eating them every morning and enjoying. Yes.
What are the policies or laws guiding GMO or biotechnology in food in Malawi?
Thank you. For 2007, 2002, we have the biotechnology and biosafety regulations. We first have the policy of 2002 and the regulations of 2007. These ones specifically say that these laws, these regulations are put in place to ensure that biotechnology is used in a safe manner. I have to make it clarify a little bit. The regulations were put there to recognize that biotechnology has potential to solve problems. But let's use this technology in a safe manner. So people should not misunderstand that by having regulations, the country is trying to stop biotechnology. In fact, it is the same laws that have allowed us to do a lot of science. It is the same regulations of 2007 that have allowed us to even release GM cotton in this country. Sure.
What do we need to do in order for people to understand, especially the local masses, the local farmers, to understand the concept of biotechnology and be able to embrace it?
Yes, so there's need for a lot of conversation, because I have to say here that the misconceptions, misunderstanding towards GMOs, especially GM food, are not only in Malawi. We have them even in Europe, we have them across Africa. But on a positive note, Ethiopia is moving on. They are doing experiments on their local food, teff, maize, rice, and horticultural crops. Kenya has done a lot on sweet potato, maize. They are now testing sorghum, gene edited. Nigeria has accepted the cultivation of cowpea and maize. Ghana has accepted the consumption of GMO maize, just consumption, because they are doing experiments like ourselves. So there is that progress to say people are now realizing that the people who are saying no to GMOs are not saying no for only safety reasons. They are saying no for other things. Remember that this science cannot be separated from business and history. So it is possible that when a certain GMO is solving problems, someone who was making profits from that business will lose his market. So let's always not lose sight for that. But as scientists, we don't talk about that. For the masses, we need to talk a lot to them, just like media houses like yours is doing. We need to be talking more about biotechnology. What do we talk about? The positive things that they can see, like with cotton, the positive trends that they can see, the consumption that we are doing ourselves. Every day we buy GM food on the shelves of those supermarkets and we are eating them, talking positively. Also to remind each other that there is no technology that is 100% safe. Cars, smartphones, all these technologies have their issues. When I'm sick, they will do an X-ray on me to see my bones, you know. So all these technologies have positives and negatives. What matters is how you use the technology. For us in Malawi, according to the regulations, we as scientists, with my colleagues, we will only do science that is helpful to the country. And the other thing that can be done to make the society comfortable is to say, this science is done by Malawians. I am a Malawian. My colleagues in the team are Malawians. So it is good, even in the regulations, it is clear that let this science be done by local people. As a local Malawian, even if it was not myself, but another person, as long as they are Malawian, that should increase the trust by the public, by the society, to say, our fellow Malawians doing this science. So we should trust it.
As we're winding up our chat, what would be the economic impact of accommodating GMOs into our system?
The economic impact is really clear using the example of cotton. If you are looking at yields of cotton before the GMO, it was 700 kgs per hectare. Now with the GMO cotton, it's around 2,000 kgs per hectare. That's more than twice. So cotton is something that we use ourselves in Malawi to make textile and to export. So the economic impact, you can see that it is huge. For banana, we have tried GMO, we are still trying, but I can tell you that if we solve the problem of banana budget of disease, which is with banana here in Malawi, we will stop importing banana from Tanzania, we will stop importing banana from Mozambique. We are still importing those things, and the impact is very clear. If you look at if you go to Lilongwe in Chase Market, where a lot of bananas go, the importation per week is so huge. It's tons and tons every week that are imported. So if we have our own banana, GM banana, which can survive and fight the common banana budget of virus disease, this country should be able to develop. Even maize, the maize that we are doing now, the insect called 4-armyworm can lead to yield losses of 40%. It has happened when there was Cyclone Freddy in the southern region. Farmers lost their crop completely. When they went back to winter cropping to irrigate, the insect 4-armyworm hit again. farmers lost up to 50% of their harvest. So you can imagine with the maize that we are doing, if we reach the finish line for this experiment, we'll solve a huge, we'll cover a huge gap in the maize production for this country. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.